So just a teeny bit about me. My name is Brian Whitmer. My background is actually in computer science. I'm a computer programmer by trade. Usability is my area of focus. So out of school, I started a company called Instructure, and we built Canvas, which is a learning platform that's used around the country and around the world. But after that got big and I looked at what to do next, that's when I started CoughDrop as a collaboration with about 30 speech paths and OTs around the country, trying to build something that could be more usable and approachable. So that's how the CoughDrop app got started. We're about 6 years in now, and we have people using it all over the place. So that's me. As far as what's new for CoughDrop for the company, one of the things that we're doing right now is a new type of training we have called AAC Squad training. And we call it AAC Squad training. We use the word squad specifically because a squad is a team with a singular focus. And so the idea of this training we do is as a face-to-face training. It takes 2 to 3 hours. And the goal is to try to build something that can try to help people understand that they can be empowered to make AAC decisions and to be able to support communicators because we want that team to be strong and cohesive. We can talk about intervention strategies and we can talk about picking the right vocabulary, but what we found is that a lot of times we go into these environments where there's classroom settings or there's people that are supporting communicators and they need a little bit of a nudge, but they also just need some reassurance that they're doing good and that they can make good things happen. So that's why we created this AAC Squad training. The basics of it, I can walk you through just a little bit of it. We have sort of multiple categories. We talk about the ground rules for AAC. We call it our squad ground rules. And the idea there is just to kind of get everybody a baseline. We talk about best practices and what's going on in the industry and just make sure everyone has kind of understanding. We talk about our squad captain, which I'll talk about in just a second. We talk about how to gather the squad, how to make sure we have a team that's united and has a singular focus, and then additional things we can do to sort of raise everybody up and learn some new skills. So just really briefly, when we talk about supporting communicators with AAC, we want that communicator to be in charge of their destiny. We want them to be the leader or the captain of the squad. And so we talk a lot about this and how can we empower them and how can we get them to a point where they can do it. Because some communicators at such a beginning point, we're just talking about trying to find the best yes, some way that they can be able to express themselves. And some communicators are ready to make big decisions. But anywhere they are on that spectrum, we can give them a little bit more than we have been, and we can help people understand that and that they have that opportunity. We talk also a lot in the training about how messing up is awesome. We're going to be making stuff up. We're figuring things out as we go. That's just kind of a little teaser or a little snippet of what this AAC Squad training is. If you're interested or you have a school district or a program you think could benefit from it, feel free to let us know because we definitely do this on a regular basis. I'll tell you just a little bit about CoughDrop before I talk about what's new, just in case anybody is not familiar. CoughDrop is an AAC app. It's a communication app. We call it team-based AAC. And the reason it has to do with the same stuff we're talking about when I talk about having an AAC squad. We want to make sure that the team around the communicator is engaged and being as effective as possible because that's one of our best indicators for success as far as AAC intervention goes. And so we provide tools inside of the app. It's not just a communication app. It's also a collaboration tool where we can set strategies and we can come up with ideas and we can figure out how we can best support those AAC users as they're working on their communication. So some of the things that are different about CoughDrop, it synchronizes across devices. CoughDrop's cloud-based, so it automatically updates no matter what brand of device you put it on, whether it's an iPad or an Android tablet or a phone. You may have a communicator that's on an iPad, but their family may have Android or Samsung phones, or they may have a tablet lying around, and they can put CoughDrop on it, and then family members, siblings, and peers can do some modeling. Family can practice vocabulary and learn where things are without having to take the communicator's device away. So even if they've got a great iPad and you say, hey, iPads are wonderful, there's value in being able to have it on as many systems as possible. And you don't have to buy for each of those. You buy an account and put it on whatever devices you need to. There are built-in reports and goals. You can set goals, you can set targets, and CoughDrop will automatically help you work towards those. But then there's also data tracking, so you can see what is and isn't working inside of the app. We do a free 2-month trial. You can always just go sign up on the website, mycoughDrop.com. So that's the basics of what CoughDrop is. If you want to learn more about anything specifically, feel free to come by the booth. We also have T-shirts we're giving away. We always do free T-shirts, and it's a Star Wars theme this year. So if that's your thing, you may want to swing by. But let me talk about some of the things that are new inside of the CoughDrop app itself. The biggest one that we've added recently is this two-way text messaging feature. So I'll Maybe I'll just do them one at a time, and we'll see what we get through in the time we have. So let me jump over here to the web browser, and I'll show you what this looks like. Oops. Okay, so inside of CoughDrop's a communication app. Since it's cross-platform, you can put it in a web browser or any device and it'll work just fine. So I can build sentences and I can say things right here from the browser, just like I would on a device that the communicator has. Inside of CoughDrop, there are tools to be able to share and work on our utterances and sentences. So we have this little sentence menu. I can hold the thought, so if I want to save this and then say something in the interim and then come back to it later, I can do that. We can save phrases, quick phrases, and we can save actually journal entries as well. I'll get to alerts in a minute. We can use the repairs tool. If, for example, we have things in the wrong order, it's really easy to say, you know what, let's just rearrange and get it back to the right spot. So you can help communicators understand that process and do it with them right inside the app. And then there's ways to be able to repeat text. You can flip the sentence box, so if you're on a flat surface, the other person can now read what it is I'm saying as I'm saying it. All of that's just built into the app. But the last one you can share, and lots of apps let you share. You can share to Facebook, or you can copy to the clipboard, or things like that. But the big difference with CoughDrop is that share tool actually allows you to add contacts. You can add an email address, or you can add a phone number for each of the person in their contact lists, and then they can share with those people individually. So if I create a message, I can send it out to a person, and CoughDrop just takes care of the delivery process, getting it to them, whatever their mode is, if it's email or if it's text. And then once it's sent out, I can actually pull up that message. I get a text message on my phone or whatever my messaging system is with a link. So I get the message from the person who it's from, what the message was, and then I can just click this link to reply. And it takes me right to a web page. I don't have to have the CoughDrop app installed or anything set up beforehand. So you can message anybody that has a cell phone number or an email address. But then I write my reply, and I hit send, and that message will now get sent back to the communicator. And sometimes it takes a little bit just because of internet and things, but they will see an indication right up here in the corner. They'll say, hey, I got a new message. And then once they do that, they can click that message and they can look and see what it is that somebody sent to them. So if it's not going to pop up, I can show you some of the ones that have been sent in the past. So I can look and see the things that people have sent, and all this happens right for the communicator right inside of the app. I didn't have to switch apps to do it or anything like that. I can then reply. Again, I can hit reply and create a new message and send it back out to the person, and we can have a two-way interaction that way without the other person having to know anything about how CoughDrop works or how to use it. So that's one of the new features that we've added. Part of the reason we've done this, there's our little note. See, I got a new message. Part of the reason that we've done this is because text messaging is actually, there's a lot of value for communicators as a communication modality. It's asynchronous, so I don't have to stress as much about making sure I answer in a short amount of time. It's authentic, though, at the same time. Sometimes when we're working on therapies, we create these artificial, situations where we're trying to say, well, pretend you needed to say this and pretend you need to communicate with somebody, right? But this is an authentic communication. Typically, it's with someone that they already have an emotional connection with, and that brings with it motivation. Communicators want to be able to interact with the people that they care about, and that can be a great opportunity. Also, when you have a text messaging, sometimes we can say, let's save that for a little bit. It can be an activity that we can fit in where it makes sense, and we can use that sort of as a timing strategy if we want to. So there's lots of great stuff that comes from being able to use this text messaging tool for our communicators, even very beginning communicators. In the past, I think we would hold off on this sort of thing for too long. We would say, let's wait till they have a good, robust vocabulary. Let's wait till they have lots of words, and then we can start to look at something like this. But even beginning communicators, we have 5-year-olds that are texting their grandma and grandpa. If you are a grandma or grandpa, you've probably got text messages or you've video chatted with kids that are very young, grandkids that are very young, and that's fine. And we can use this, I think, earlier than we have in the past to try to get some authentic communication and as another tool in our basket. So that's one of the things that we've done recently with CoughDrop. That's a big one. Another one that we've worked on in the last little while is grammatical inflections. So inside of CoughDrop, you have a vocabulary. This vocabulary seen right here is called Quick Core 60. It's a robust motor planning style vocabulary set. So almost everything is 1 or 2 button hits to get to it. There's about, I think it's 3,800 words in there. So there's a lot you can get to very quickly. And there are some grammatical inflections that are just built in. But in addition to that, with CoughDrop, you can long press on any of the buttons or long hold, and it'll bring up grammatical inflections. It'll bring up all your parts of speech. So for verbs, it's going to be all of your tenses. And what's interesting about the way we've done it with CoughDrop, it'll pull these up for you. You can override them if you want to, and we have people that have done, we have some autistic adults with autism who have done a lot of overriding of these inflections just to have really quick phrases that they can use in any setting so they get faster access to it. And the reason they've done that is because once you learn the direction that these tenses are, so for example with verbs, the default is always ing is down, past tense is to the left, the infinitive is to the right. Once you learn those, you can actually turn on a swiping feature in CoughDrop and you don't have to hold anymore. So I can just say, I wanted to eat. So it was really quick to be able to craft a sentence that has grammatical tenses in it without having to worry about holding down or going to different menus for my grammatical inflections. So it ends up saving a lot of time for those communicators who can get to that level where we can do it in a very fast and efficient way. So that's kind of cool. We're kind of proud of it. And that's just baked into the app. Any vocabulary that you use inside of CoughDrop has that. You have to turn it on inside of your preferences, but then you have access to it. I already showed you repairs, how you can make changes to existing sentences and phrases. We've used that a lot with my daughter. She gets the words out when she can, and sometimes they're in the right order, and sometimes they're not. And so we support her in saying, all right, well, let's just move that one over because you said the right thing. We don't need to start over. We don't need to erase stuff. Sometimes we can put filler words in, too. You can actually you can move your cursor wherever you want and then go add some more words in. So if you say, oh, there's some stuff we wanted to have before this, you just move the cursor and then say insert here, and then you can add some stuff and keep going from there. There's an additional feature inside of CoughDrop I want to show you called modeling ideas. We have a whole website called the Core Workshop or the Communication Workshop, which is a library of activities and lessons and suggestions that will help give you opportunities to use core words. You can always go there yourself. It's just at coreworkshop.org. And you can find a word and look at the activities and resources that are there. So there is a lot you can do, but we've also just baked it into the CoughDrop app. So when you're working with a communicator, you can set targets inside of CoughDrop. You can say, we're going to focus on these words. This is our word of the week or our words of the month that we're going to focus on. And CoughDrop will pick that up automatically. And then whenever you go into speak mode for a communicator, it'll say, hey, I got some ideas for you. And you can just hit this button and look at ideas of activities or YouTube videos or Tar Heel reader books that have to do with those core words. Sometimes it's directly related to it. Sometimes it's just something that gives you an excuse to use them, or will give the communicator an excuse to leverage those words in a communication situation. But you can toggle through and find the ones you want and go ahead and use them. CoughDrop will also automatically pick up when a communicator starts. If you don't set these goals by hand, CoughDrop will pick up when a communicator starts using some words. So when they are sort of emergently using vocabulary, if you turn on logging, it keeps track of that. And it can automatically give not just you, but family members and everyone else ideas for how they can leverage that. And since it's just right there inside of the sentence box, it's really easy for anybody to pop it up and say, what am I going to do right now? Oh, let's just check and see. Oh, here's some good ideas. I want to go ahead and run with it. So there's a lot of opportunity because, once again, with CoughDrop, we're not just trying to give a communicator a vocabulary. We're trying to say, how can we get the team to be more effective in supporting that communicator? Because the more times we have other people modeling and reinforcing and interacting using that vocabulary and supporting and acknowledging that vocabulary, the more authentic it will be to them. They will feel more connected to it and they will care because other people respect them when they use that vocabulary. And other people use it too, and so it's very normalized. So that's one of the reasons why we started to build in some of these resources inside of the CoughDrop app. Let's see. Another thing that we can talk about, CoughDrop, The default vocabulary is whenever you go to CoughDrop, you look at the boards and you may say, I don't recognize these pictures. I've never seen these pictures before. It's a free symbol library called Open Symbols. Anybody can use it. So it's nice because you can post resources on the web. You can grab whatever you want. You don't have to worry about somebody suing you for copyright. But some people are already using other libraries. And so CoughDrop, we actually have support for board maker symbols and symbol sticks as well. We just barely added symbol sticks. That's brand new. So if you want to use those symbol libraries, it's a $25 fee to add them. But then you can easily take any board set inside of CoughDrop and you say, I want to swap this for board maker symbols, or I want to swap this for symbol sticks or lesson picks as well. And it'll automatically put those in, and you can search and find the ones that you want. And it's just the same as any other symbol library inside of the CoughDrop app. I don't think I talked about pricing of CoughDrop itself. CoughDrop's $200 to buy for life. We charge per communicator. So in CoughDrop, there's two types of logins. You can be a communicator or you can be a supporter. And supporter accounts are always free. That's for family members, that's for therapists, that's for grandma and grandpa. Whoever we want to be supporting the communicator, we're going to give them free access. But each communicator is what we'll purchase for, and then they add all those people, they give them permission to access their account. So then someday when they move to a different district or they decide they don't like you as a therapist anymore, they kick you out of their stuff and you don't have access to their material. We don't have to worry about passwords and iTunes accounts or anything like that. It's just nice and clean for all of that. But yeah, when you want to purchase per communicator, it's $200 to buy it for life, or you can pay $6 a month for as long as you want. Either way. A lot of times families will do month to month because it's just easier for them than the upfront cost. But $200, that's what schools typically do is purchase. So that's and again, if you want to get the PCS and symbol sticks symbols, then it's a $25 one-time fee. If you want to do lesson picks, you just have to have an active lesson picks account, and then you just you plug it in basically, and it works just fine. The other thing, we're almost out of time, so I'll wrap up. Make sure we have time for questions. We have inside of CoughDrop, we've had for a while this way to be able to find a button. So if you're looking for a word or a phrase, you can search for a specific button, but you can also, let me go back. You can do more than one word as well, and it'll walk you through the whole sequence. So you can say, I want to talk to you. And CoughDrop will find the closest matching sequence it can and walk you through the whole process of saying that. So when you have somebody like a family member who you're trying to just barely get started, this can be a great way for them to sort of see what's available and get a little bit more comfortable without having to just say, well, I don't know where anything is, so I'll just let him or I'll just let her figure it out on her own. And then we also have some features inside of CoughDrop for highlighting. So when you hit buttons, we can have it highlight. We can have it bring it to the forefront so that there's a little bit more of a visual feedback. You can also, in addition to just bringing the whole button forward, you can have it bring just the word, just the letters forward for literacy purposes, so that as it speaks, they also get visual feedback on the specific word that they were activating. So either one works inside of the app. So that's the stuff I wanted to make sure and show. Those are some of the things that are new with the CoughDrop app. If you want to learn more about it, again, feel free to come by the booth. But let me open for questions. Does anybody have any questions for me right now about CoughDrop or any of the things I talked about? Okay, well, thank you all for coming. I appreciate your time. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. I can come over to later if you want. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.